Our patented drill bit has 38 tungsten carbide rock-chewing teeth, is steerable with a directed water jet, and drills on center.
Using our system, the customer is able to measure and tune feed mixtures so that the animals can reach full production potential while effectively managing the herd and maximizing the bottom line.
Mayflower Bioscience was formed to bring innovation to U.S. scientists. Mayflower Bioscience is the scientists' direct link to global life science innovation.
It's maternity running apparel for the active woman.
And it's designed to fit a pregnant form rather than hide it. Josephine the Machine running apparel will compare in quality to the high-tech running gear from Nike, Saucony, and New Balance.
Tunespeak is a musician-to-fan loyalty platform. No service yet makes it possible for a band to leverage giveaways for more fan activity and more fans.
Ice cold, fresh draft beer in your home. There's no better way. Cheers.
We produce gourmet confections, and they're made with all natural quality ingredients. We prepare our candy in time-honored tradition and handcraft each piece. A fan favorite is our almond butter crunch.
Jurastat allows me to predict the future. Jurastat transforms raw court data into actionable analytics using our proprietary algorithms, allowing us to predict the future behavior of judges, juries, attorneys, and parties to a lawsuit. Jurastat can tell me the probability of success on motions and appeals. It can tell me the likelihood of winning a trial. It can even tell me the best day of the week to argue in front of a particular judge.
Okay, so what you saw there was just a sampling of what was going on earlier tonight over at the Science Center Startup Challenge. And so there were several other companies, several other ideas, a lot of people rubbing shoulders, and that was just a sampling. And they did crown a winner. And that man we have in the studio tonight, you just saw him on the video there, and he is with us tonight, Andrew Winship, who is the man behind the idea known as Jurastat. Also with us, Katie Jambaretz from St. Louis County Economic Partnership, and Travis Sheridan with the Helix Center, that's a biotech incubator. Okay, so let's back up for 1 second. Katie, I'll put you on the spot here. Do a better job of explaining what just happened at the Science Center tonight.
So no pressure, but our first three winners have been wildly successful. So this is our fourth year of the Startup Challenge, and we award $100,000 total to 3 startups, $50,000, $30,000, and $20,000.
And who is we?
The St. Louis Economic Development Partnership. We're the economic development arm of the city and county. We just combined our efforts so we do it more efficiently, more effectively. And Edward Jones comes to the table every year with $100,000. They write the whole check, no strings attached. They do not take any piece of your company. They just want to give you the money to grow it. And so about an hour ago, Andrew found out that Jurastat was the winner this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, Katie, for putting that in perspective
for us.
It's a cool company. It's amazing. It's an amazing win for you tonight.
Absolutely. So far, we've raised about almost $250,000, and this puts us over that $250,000 point. So it's going to help our company grow. And when we were talking about deal flow earlier here on the show, that's deal flow. And you can see the companies grow when you push that money into startup companies.
So why can this work for you here, and why can all of what we're talking about tonight work here? Open up to all three of you.
I think the key is critical mass. What's circling around St. Louis is for a long time we've had talent, we've had cash. Per capita, the city has so many Fortune 500 companies. There's so many pieces in place, and they're finally all working together for one goal, that's to make this city great. To get us back to our roots, like Joe said earlier, and to remind us of our entrepreneurial spirit, and to build the next billion-dollar company here in St. Louis.
And I think to that point, with regard to critical masses, we've already proven that as it relates to biotech. And we have SLU and WashU, which have wonderful research institutions. We have industry in Monsanto and a lot of startups in between. And now with things like the Helix Center and the rest of the biotech community, we are seeing a groundswell of entrepreneurship that's really starting to fuel the growth that's based on the knowledge that's here in our institutions. And so we're seeing that as a very authentic way to start fueling and growing our economy.
And is it harder on the biotech, biosciences side? I know Joe talked a little bit about that, and a little more money. In my limited understanding, I can see what Andrew is doing with the computer, and what you're talking about may need a lab, for instance.
Right, and so like for example at the Helix Center as a biotech incubator, we have both lab and office space available, a lot of shared equipment that's available, and yes, it does take a lot more capital to launch a startup or launch a biotech company. The good news is, assuming the government is actually working and not in shutdown, there are a lot of federal grants that are available, research grants and scientific grants that are available. So a lot of biotech startups are grant funded for a number of years, which does a couple of things. It keeps researchers employed, it keeps them employed at a decent salary, and it doesn't dilute the value or the equity in the business.
And to get FDA approved for many of these companies, many of our really talented biotech and plant science companies, it's so much more capital intensive that we have a unique capability here with entities like Biogenerator that understand it's gonna take a long time. You're gonna have to put a lot of money in, and they're willing to, see it through because those companies are much harder to foster, but they're much more successful. They can return so much more to your economy.
So how important do you think the community side, as Joe referred to it, the governmental side, the public side of this, to everything, or can it not be done without the larger community's help?
You need all aspects firing on all cylinders. I mean, you really do. You need the mayor's office, you need Charlie Dooley, you need the county and the city working together, which they are in the partnership, which is fantastic. You need WashU, you need SLU, you need every educational institution pushing the best talent here into St. Louis and getting them to stay here and getting the startups into those institutions. You need the deal flow and the Fortune 500s to start buying here in St. Louis. So if you've got a product that is from the Valley or a product that's here from St. Louis, look at the St. Louis one. I bet you it's just gonna be just as good, if not better, and probably at a better price.
So you're a lifelong entrepreneur, you've been doing this forever. This is like your 5th or 6th company, I'm guessing?
Absolutely not. 29 years old. I was an attorney. I went to law school at WashU, worked in private practice as an attorney representing massive companies for the past 4 or 5 years, and then quit to start this product.
How long did you have the idea before you took a chance to make it happen?
We actually were in Startup Weekend. I walked into an event called Startup Weekend with a bunch of strangers and managed to find 3 of my best friends who we started a company with. And we've built it from scratch. That idea came in the beginning of 2012. We quit our jobs and started going full-time February 1 of this year. And we're already to where we're at right now. Our first investors have seen 4x return when we close this investment round from February 1 to today.
And I think you can tell there is something happening here. You can hear the momentum, but it's really what we do with that momentum. We have come so far in 6 months, but it's really what we do to support it. And really, we ask people all the time, well, what are your roadblocks? What do you need? What could we do better? I mean, we've got some attention now. We need to capitalize on it.
So what are those roadblocks?
I would say still talent is the big one. It continues to be the talent across the board. We don't have serial entrepreneurs in our community yet. It'll take a few exits before we get there. It will take the Jim McKelveys coming in back and reinvesting into their community, not just financially, but with time, energy, and expertise to help get us there. I think that's one of the biggest roadblocks. I think government, local government has done a good job of setting up opportunities for entrepreneurs, but also getting out of the way of entrepreneurs and really removing a lot of the red tape. I came out here from California because I thought the entrepreneurial climate was better here than it was in California. And it's mostly due to the collaboration that I've seen where we see city and county working together and we see public-private partnerships really working together.
Is this just a game that gets played up here in a really high dollar level and the rest of us kind of sit and watch and watch the next Twitter happen? I think Twitter, is going to, I think today officially filed for an IPO. And that's a whole nother show and how you get involved in that. But none of us
I don't think so. I mean, when you think of like what Drew was doing, and he had a completely good job, and he could have been a big corporate attorney for the rest of his life. But he had a great idea, and I think he was surrounded by people who could kind of walk him through like what success looked like.
Absolutely. I think you run into everyday people every day who have really good ideas and they want to know how to take it to the next level. And so I'm working downtown in an office space with 70 other companies. It's created 600 jobs downtown in a few 100,000 square feet. And you're just seeing people, you don't know their names now, you're going to know some of their names in a few years.
Is there a role for the rest of us to play? I don't have an idea, but I am excited about what you are talking about, for instance.
I would, my biggest role, encouragement to the community is to be beta testers, early testers, just try the stuff that's coming out. You know, as economic developers, we always talk about buy local, and we want to buy a lot of local things. So look at the innovations that are coming up, look at the bonfires of the world, and it's a social app, and jump on board with that. Look around and see what technologies and things that are being innovated. Look at Zettie's Confections, the chocolate company here in town, and buy their chocolates or candies. Look for ways to just try a lot of local stuff, because the best thing is the community can give feedback to these entrepreneurs and say, here's how you can make it better.
Okay, so is this just a tech conversation or just a biotech conversation, or is there room for other good old-fashioned ideas like I can make a better mousetrap?
Second place winner was a beer company. He calls himself the Keurig of beer. He wants to have a beer tapper on everybody's counter. I think his invention's phenomenal.
I love it.